Oh my gosh. Is he still breathing?
I did not know, Hannah. I'm so sorry.
That's Hannah Lee Gage. She had just stumbled upon her boyfriend lying lifeless in their kitchen, gunned down by someone they had both considered a friend.
I literally thought it was a flashlight, sir.
It's a trigger, dude. It's a trigger.
At first, responding officers believed the shooting might have been nothing more than a tragic accident. But as detectives pushed further into the shadows of that night, they would unravel a tangled love triangle where each person guarded a hidden truth.
I don't understand if, he was mad.
He never hangs out really with anybody. He's very quiet.
If I fail at something, I feel stupid. So I aimed at it, pulled the trigger, the rest is played out.
In the early hours of December 31st, just a day before New Year's, the Lake Stevens Police Department received a chilling emergency call. On the line was 23-year-old Hannah Lee Gage, witnessing in disbelief as her boyfriend fought for life, bleeding from a gunshot wound to the chest.
Hurry, someone's been shot, hurry. Oh my god, I don't even know, I wasn't paying attention. My friend just grabbed my other friend's gun, and I think he was just trying to play around me. And shot him. I'm away.
The man with the gun, where is he?
He's in my kitchen, he's yelling for me to help. I feel like I need help.
Okay, what is his name?
What's your name, huh? What's your name? Josh.
Officers raced toward the apartment, fully aware the situation could collapse at any moment. The victim might only have minutes left while the shooter still stood inside. And what they discovered upon arrival wasn't merely a gruesome scene, it was the devastating result of infatuation twisting violently out of
Oh,
control.
thank God they're here. They're here.
Okay, go to the door. Get the officers.
Oh my God.
Where's the gun?
Please help. The gun's running.
Come on, Neil.
Please
Come
help.
on. I'm inside. Neil?
Is the ambulance on their way?
They are. I literally thought the gun was a flashlight because he was using it as a flashlight. We were looking for a cat and I saw that I was using a flashlight. I hope I did Just one? Right yes, there? One shot.
Is he okay?
No, he's not okay.
On the floor lay 27-year-old Neil Forestier, struck in the chest and no longer breathing. Paramedics rushed in within minutes, battling desperately to pull the young man back from the edge. Only a few steps away stood his friend Joshua, claiming over and over that the shooting had been accidental. Yet as officers escorted him outside, the weight of what had happened began to settle in.
Trigger, dude. It's a trigger. You have to
Stay over there. Stay over there. I did not know, Hannah. I'm so sorry.
I swear to God, I did not know it was a concealed weapon. I did not know he concealed a loaded weapon or anything like that.
Okay, I'm gonna read you your rights though, okay? Okay, so don't say anything until I read you your rights.
Yes, sir. I have work in a few hours.
I know, buddy.
What immediately unsettled the officer, however, was Joshua's demeanor. He didn't sound distressed, not even close. He seemed more troubled by the idea of missing his morning shift. And with no signs of heavy intoxication, officers began to suspect he was hiding something much darker. Even with Joshua insisting the shot was unintentional, the officer turned to the only other witness, Hannah. But what she revealed would completely unravel Joshua's story, exposing that this wasn't a tragic mishap between close friends at all. Joshua had been stalking her, and she barely knew him.
Bring you out to his car, get you started on a statement. Wait, I got it. I got it. Don't worry
I
about
have a cat, so I just don't want him to know.
it.
Was Josh? That's his name, right, Josh?
I don't know. I asked him when I was on the phone with the police, and he said it's Josh. I know him, but I just don't know him that well. We've met at the bar a couple of times.
Oh,
And he just asked if he could come over to my house so he could sober up for an hour, and then he was gonna go home. And I said,
Did he
yeah, sure,
drive
that's
here?
fine.
Neil took his gun out of his waistbands, so him and Josh put it in the box.
Josh started it, he was playing, doing it, acting around, and then Neil was like, oh, we could do that if you want. We could just start with 10% and then go up.
Unbeknownst to Hannah, Joshua had been simmering with jealousy for months. He saw himself as worthless, someone who failed at everything he touched. While Neil was a Navy veteran, a rising MMA fighter, and the man with the woman Joshua wanted. And Hannah was absolutely right, a gun does not fire on its own, nor can it be mistaken for a simple flashlight. Which meant investigators were likely facing something far more intentional than they had first suspected.
We sometimes say that when, with our gun, we punch out,
Yeah, no, I
never
never saw
point the
him
gun
grab
at
the
him.
gun or point the gun. I just heard it, and I was like, I didn't really understand what it was. I just felt the ringing in my ear.
Yeah.
And it almost felt like something like ricocheted.
How close would you say?
I was so close. Like, we were all so close. My kitchen is small. It's a small apartment. We were all in that small little kitchen.
Did Neil say anything?
No.
He wasn't talking. He didn't say nothing.
No, but he was still awake for a little bit. Like, he collapsed and his eyes closed and everything were rolled back. But
So
now I feel like since we were drinking, like, I feel like I can't even fully process what all just happened.
Yeah. There's nothing that you could have done.
I just don't understand if, like, he was mad. I don't really understand how he could think a gun is just a flashlight.
I didn't see the gun. Is there a flashlight on the gun?
I'm pretty sure there is a flashlight on the gun.
Okay.
But you would have to pull the trigger to a gun to make it go off.
And Hannah was absolutely right. A gun does not fire on its own, nor can it be mistaken for a simple flashlight. Which meant investigators were likely facing something far more intentional than they had first suspected. By this time, Joshua had been taken to Snohomish County Jail, where he would remain for hours as detectives gathered evidence. With every passing minute, guilt gnawed at him. He knew Neil hadn't earned such a fate, and he feared the police would never accept his story of an accident. Despite the paramedics' determined efforts, Neil Forestier did not survive. He was a man of deep faith and unwavering patriotism. He had served in the Navy before pursuing a career as a professional mixed martial artist. Neil loved bringing joy to people, which was why he had tried to befriend Joshua, making the tragedy all the more heartbreaking. With Joshua in custody, detectives hurried to collect every piece of information before confronting him. They contacted the bartender who had served the group hours before the fatal gunshot. She knew all three well, and to their surprise, she spoke of Joshua as someone harmless, someone incapable of violence.
So you normally see they're what you would call maybe irregulars?
Yeah.
Do they usually come in together, or do they usually hang out together?
Josh never hangs out really with anybody. He is very quiet. And no, he seemed like a little bit like he might have had Asperger's or something. Probably the last person I would have ever expected to have heard this about.
The bartender was stunned when she learned what Joshua had done, suggesting it might truly have been a disastrous mistake. But the details she shared hinted at a darker motive, revealing how a quiet, solitary young man could snap in an instant.
This past weekend, he did go hang out with Hannah. She is, like, very gregarious.
Mm-hmm.
Or, like,
outgoing?
That way.
Would you maybe describe her as flirty?
She's very flirty.
Okay.
And she honestly, the night that happened, started dancing with him, and I can see
dancing with Josh or dancing with Neil?
Dancing with Josh.
Like,
yeah, like
body to body kind of.
Yeah, okay. But nobody seemed upset. Like, Neil didn't look mad.
Did you see Hannah, like, making out with Josh at all, or just dancing?
I didn't see that. It wouldn't have surprised me.
Okay, and have you ever heard Josh express any kind of feelings about anybody in the bar, or Hannah at all?
Yeah, he stares a lot, but it seems not, like, creepy, more like very observational.
Okay.
Almost like he wishes he knew how to talk to people, but doesn't. Neil seems like a really nice person. And Josh seemed really sweet too. Awkward. Yeah. And I could see where he might misread situations.
Armed with a clearer understanding of the group's dynamics, the detectives hope they have enough leverage to get a confession from Joshua. So 4 days after Joshua's arrest, the detectives bring him in for questioning. Veteran detective Kristen Parnell will lead the investigation. She knows exactly how to handle suspects like Joshua. By using Joshua's own insecurities against him, Parnell will uncover his repressed feelings for Hannah and reveal the true motive behind the murder.
You remember me, Detective Parnell? The reason I came down here was because, like, some more stuff has come up and I just kind of wanted to follow up with you and get some more questions answered. Okay?
Parnell knows there are holes in Joshua's story, and she starts with one of them, the twisted reason he chose to go to Hannah's house instead of his own.
You'd been up for a while, had a couple drinks at Creekside, and then asked Hannah if you could go back to her apartment, right?
Yeah, just in case if I was to pass out.
Why did you decide to go to her place versus just giving a ride home? Something that would have been unsafe about going?
I mean, there would have, but at the time I also wanted to head home. Not head home, but head to Hannah's, hang out with her for a little bit just in case if I was to fall asleep there.
You guys did the play fighting thing.
Yeah, it just came out of the blue. me knowing that I've gotten into a couple of fist fights in the past, you know, and I told him that I was pretty good at fighting. I was throwing good punches and stuff. And then he got his on me, and I'd say he did better than me.
Because it hurt, right?
It didn't hurt.
Or no, it didn't hurt, it knocked the wind out of you.
It knocked me back, and I was kind of breathing a little hard for a little bit.
Yeah.
And then he kind of put his hand on my shoulder and said, "Are you okay?" You know, and I'm like, "Yeah, I'm fine. I'm just a little winded out."
Using Joshua's insecurities against him, Parnell would peel back the layers of his guarded emotions, exposing the feelings he had buried for Hannah and revealing the real motive behind the killing. Just moments before the gunshot, Joshua had urged Neil to engage in a playful sparring match. What he didn't know was that Neil was a trained fighter. Yet what irritated Joshua most wasn't the punch itself but Neil's reaction afterward, a calm hand on his shoulder, asking if he was alright.
Tell me about the last time you were punched in the gut like that.
This was back when I was in middle school.
Okay.
That was in recent memory, that was my last fight that I remember being in, and the guy I was fighting did sock me in the gut pretty good.
Yeah.
Around the same type of punch that Neil gave me.
How did you feel in middle school when you got punched like that?
At the time, I was not experienced, so I was in pain.
I mean, it sounds like you kind of flashed back to that. And sometimes when something happens that reminds us of a previous experience, it's kind of like you're back in that previous experience. Did you feel like that?
Not necessarily. I did feel like I was about to go on my knees like I did in the past, but I was holding on to the counters.
The gun was, I'm guessing, on the counter in front of you then, too.
Yeah.
That punch awakened a long-buried memory in Joshua, the last time he had taken a blow to the stomach, though he refused to fully acknowledge it. Detective Parnell pressed harder, dismantling his claim of an accidental discharge piece by piece, determined to uncover the real catalyst behind his actions.
Your head then, right at that moment when you're bent over on the counter and like kind of trying to catch your breath again. What are you thinking? What are you feeling? Tell me what that was.
I was kind of I was thinking like, wow, this guy knows how to punch, you know?
Yeah.
And I was impressed by how hard he punched. I don't like failing at anything. If I fail at something, I feel stupid. And so after going through that thought process, I kind of paced through the kitchen a little bit. Then after pacing for a little bit, I saw the gun, and the rest is played out.
Said last time that you were a little upset that he hit you that hard, right?
Well, I wasn't upset. I was, like I said, I was surprised. I looked down at the counter and then saw the gun. I was also curious on how the flashlight part of the gun worked, and thought that the muzzle part was the flashlight.
Your goal was to pull the trigger and fire a round, okay? Because you had just gotten punched again by this guy who's sleeping with a girl that you want to be sleeping with, if we're being honest, right?
So I aimed at it, pulled the trigger. That answered my question and led me into a shock.
Neil embodied everything Joshua wished he could be: accomplished, self-assured, admired. Being struck down by him only magnified Joshua's internal sense of inadequacy. Joshua insisted he felt guilty, but Parnell wasn't convinced. He had always wanted acceptance, and she suspected his remorse might simply be another attempt to win sympathy.
Or merely performative.
Neil gets hit, goes to the ground, and I know you went and grabbed a towel and you're trying to stop the bleeding and stuff. What are you thinking and feeling while you're...
I felt like a complete asshole for just randomly picking up a gun that I did not know what to really do with. I just felt stupid. Like I wanted to cry, and just seeing her cry, and and that was making me feel more like a really bad friend. Like made me question myself. Like why would I do something stupid?
Joshua says,
unbeknownst to Joshua, detectives had seized his backpack, and what they discovered inside painted a disturbing picture. At this point, Detective Parnell could see clearly that Joshua's behavior had been fueled by his longing for Hannah and his resentment toward Neil. She pushed him to confront the real reason he went to Hannah's apartment, something tied directly to the unsettling items found in the bag.
Your backpack that you were carrying around with you.
I keep tools like flathead screwdrivers and stuff. What my favorite hobby to do is taking apart old, throwing away electronics and collecting scrap metal. And then one day I wanted to make money off of scrap metal.
Talk to me about the other stuff that was in there.
Like what? Like
So we have your bag.
I would have thought so.
So tell me about the other stuff that's in there that you don't want to talk about. We're at a point where I feel like we should be able to be honest, right?
Yeah.
And I think I've already demonstrated that it's hard to lie to me. I've been lied to a lot, so I'm really good at knowing when people are lying or when people are withholding. And you are not going to tell me anything in this room that I have not heard before. So you're not going to make me uncomfortable. You are not going to make me think badly about you. For me, I do this all the time.
It's hard to think without looking inside my bag.
What about anything that was in your bag?
Trying to remember what was all in there.
Please.
Just if we were wanting to get a little, frisky or kinky or whatever.
Okay.
Detective Parnell skillfully drew out the truth from Joshua, even if he didn't fully grasp what he was admitting. Jealousy had consumed him for months, forcing him to watch another man be with the woman he desired.
Maybe you're a little hopeful that you get to play with those with Hannah?
No. I never wanted to have with Hannah. I never had the thought process of having. I've seen her flirting with other guys, and I'm like, she is flirting with other dudes, so it probably wouldn't be worth it.
Come on.
I thought about it, yes, but I wasn't gonna ask her.
Oh, no, that's a weird question to say you want to go back. But,
yeah.
I mean...
But I didn't, yes, I did thought about...
Right, and kind of like we talked about before, like, hey, if you had gotten back there and one thing led to another, you weren't going to tell her no, right? Yeah, that's... Okay.
And to endure humiliation in front of her. Neil Forestier's death left a deep wound in the city of Lake Stevens, where residents mourned a man who served his country, stood by his values, and sought to uplift those around him. The interrogation concluded with Joshua Matthew Kelly being charged with second-degree murder and first-degree manslaughter. He now awaits his court hearing, and if convicted, he faces up to 18 years in prison. So drop a comment, like and subscribe to True Crime Angle. If you find this story interesting,